Why am I terrible at opening things? Oh, I swear I don't do this for comic relief. It's kind of like a Roxy Pink vinyl. One of the limited edition ones that you could get from the John Mayer store, the very first one. Kind of like a Roxy Pink. Look at this. Oh wow. Oh wow. So, I'm sure as you guys can see from the title, today not only am I doing a bit of a Q&A, Ask Me Anything, but it's a new gear day today. And one of the questions that I hadn't been maybe necessarily getting from the Q&A I did on my Instagram, but just in general from a lot of people were, am I getting a Roxy Pink Silver Sky? Because I'd kind of talked about that in the John Mayer Gear Lounge a bit. And well, as you can see, it's a big rectangular box right here, and let's find out what the new gear day is first. I got it. It's fine. Let me that. As you can see from the bag, it does appear to be a PRS guitar, but what is inside? And as you guys can see, not quite Roxy Pink, but this is a satin mock sand Silver Sky. In the spirit of keeping these more vlog style videos for my vlog series, The Gear Journey, a bit more honest and open, I actually had to do some work stuff right after I unboxed the guitar. I had only a few moments to actually plug it in, play it. I put my old PRS strap on the guitar. John's actually used this exact strap for Crossroads in 2019, which is kind of cool, with his gloss mock sand that he ended up giving away. But yeah, I was going to film that, but my biggest pet peeve with the Silver Sky is the Fender bass strap buttons that they put on them from a Fender bass guitar, the string trees from one. And they're an absolute pain in the ass to put on. So I ended up not filming that because that was just going to take too long and I didn't feel like editing it all in. So after a bit of a faff, I got the strap on, and yeah, I am just in love with this guitar. And kind of in the teaser like I did with the thumbnail and kind of the title and even with the Roxy Pink vinyl leading up to it, yes, I have talked and teased about possibly getting a Roxy Pink Silver Sky. Full transparency, I actually had one on order the day before they were officially released. I had one on order, and I told my dealer, the people I went through, I only want one if it's limited edition. If it's not limited, let's hold off for a bit and then I'll make the decision and decide what I want, because if it's not limited, then I wasn't quite sure if I'd actually like it. But if it was a limited thing, released for sob rock, like a very few example, like 500 or 1,000, like the Lunar, whatever, then I was tempted to get one because it would have been really rare and special with this new era of John Mayer's songs and album for sob rock. I thought that'd be really cool and special, but because it's not limited, I feel like everyone is going to have one, and personally that kind of didn't kill it, but I went back to wanting the one I wanted before I saw the pink, which was the satin mock sand Silver Sky. Obviously this is a 2021 model, and I actually got this used from my buddy Tommy at Tommy Guitars on Instagram. Give him a follow, he's a wicked dude, and he got this guitar right when the satins became available, and we actually believe that this very guitar is the very first satin mock sand Silver Sky that has ever been sold to the public. That being because Sweetwater got them in, at least from when we all were kind of keeping tabs on it, before anyone else, and Tommy's contact at Sweetwater contacted him right away and was like, all right, we got 3 of them in, take your pick of the weight and which kind of board and the look of which one you wanted, and Tommy ended up picking this one out of the 3. My friend Ahmad actually has one of the other of that same batch of 3, so he has kind of the sister guitar to this very one, but we believe that this is the very first one ever sold to the public, which is really cool. And the fact that, this is kind of the first satin mock sand that ever made its hands into someone other than at PRS or in John's kind of inner circle. So you guys, I gotta give a huge shout out to my buddy Tommy. He hooked it up really hard, hooking me up with his satin mock sand Silver Sky, wanting it to go to good home and stay in the, John Mayer Gear Lounge family. Tommy's a great guy. Please give him a follow at Tommy Guitarist. He's also got a YouTube channel. And don't worry, he got another Silver Sky. He decided that he liked the gloss better after owning a gloss, going to the satin. He decided, nope, I want to find a 2021 gloss with the same pickups that are in the new 2021 models. And he ended up finding one, so it was a win-win. And Tommy, I know you'll watch this, and thank you again so much. I really appreciate you, brother. I really appreciate you. So you guys, if you have any questions or want to learn more about the differences between like your 2018, 2019, 2020, and now 2021 Silver Skies, The London Guitarist just posted a video. Again, it's phenomenal. Go give that a watch. My friend Ahmad as well at Giballi on YouTube. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description below. He also did a comparison a while back. Go give that a watch as well. So, yes, I decided instead of getting a Roxy Pink Silver Sky, I wanted a mock sand satin, and this kind of ended up working out absolutely perfectly. Also, Roxy Pink's lead times are absolutely crazy on these guitars. It's like, you hear one place is quoting 9 months, you hear one place is quoting 5, but I doubt that's accurate. And then you hear other places quoting almost a year. That's just crazy, and I was not going to wait a year to get my hands on a Silver Sky, I can tell you that much. So everything worked out, and I love this guitar. The satin finish is incredible in person. Oh my god, it's absolutely amazing. So I'm extremely happy with this guitar, and you guys will be hearing it through my pedal board and my amps very soon. So that's enough about me kind of talking about my new gear day at the moment, and answering the very kind of first question of the Q&A, Ask Me Anything. Am I getting Roxy Pink Silver Sky? Nope. Got this and am extremely happy with it, and yeah, easily my favorite color so far. Alright, and now let's get into the Q&A part of this video. I know I've delayed it for a bit, but as I mentioned in my Instagram story, there were more interesting and videos I wanted to put out before this, but ended up working out. I knew my mock sand Silver Sky was coming in, and I thought, why not do a kind of a 2-in-1? And I think it looks pretty good up on the wall there. Kind of the new part of the background now for the videos. I like that a lot. Alright, let's just get right on into the Q&A, guys. I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can, and thank you so much for everyone who did submit a question. If I didn't get to yours, I'm sorry, but ask it again, or ask me something different for the next time I do a Q&A, and if you guys like this video, I'll do more, maybe once every couple months or every 2 months or something, who knows, but enough talk, let's get into it. Our first question here comes from Adrian J. Manuel. For the CE2s, how would you power it using a power supply? I'm having trouble with mine. I have a green label short dash made in Japan CE2. With these old Boss pedals, you have to be aware that not all of them actually require 9 volts. In 1997, they fully transferred over to using PSA power requirements, like power supply, and that's standard 9 volts. But a lot of older Boss pedals, especially the older and further back you go, actually have a label that says ACA. And I'm not going to get into the specifics, but if it says ACA on the back of your Boss pedal, that means it actually requires 12 volts and not 9 volts. You're not going to damage it necessarily by underpowering it, but you're definitely not going to get the full potential of the pedal, and it's not going to sound anywhere like it is supposed to. For me, I'm a massive fan of Kiox. CIOKS, you guys know the brand, it's going to be on the screen. I'm a massive fan of their power supplies, especially kind of their modular ones where you can use dip switches to change what voltage for every single outlet you're using. They're incredible and arguably my favorite power supplies. I'm using one of those and I just have the one outlet I need set on 12 volts and works like a charm. Next question comes from Matthias V _ do you play in a band, he asks. I don't play in like a band religiously or like full-time or seriously at all. I have buddies of mine who are drummers, who play bass, who like to sing or play guitar as well, and I'll jam with them. Sometimes we'll get a drummer out and that's a lot of fun. I can really get to actually crank my twin. There it is, my Fender Twin. I can get to crank that up a little bit because down in my house here, I can't really blast it too loud for too long without getting probably a bit of hearing damage and hearing loss. But when I do get to play with people, it's a lot of fun and it's something I'd like to get more into, and getting to be able to play with people more frequently, I find you learn a lot more about who you are as a player and you learn what areas you need to work on as well, and it just is a different way of practicing and improving your playing. So I really would like to play with people on a more frequent basis, especially with the past year and a bit, the way things have been. Playing with people hasn't been the easiest thing, but definitely going forward here, that's a big thing that I want to change and get more active in doing. Next one comes from T.Oni Chavez. Tony Chavez, what is the best cheap delay pedal? Now, cheap and affordability are really relative terms. What might be that for someone might not necessarily be that for someone else. If I had to choose a quote-unquote cheap delay pedal, again, this is relative term, this is kind of the first one that's coming to mind, and I actually have this pedal, the T-Rex Replay Box. The T-Rex Replay Box, used, you can get them for relatively affordable prices. I mean, I paid less than 150 Canadian used on Reverb for mine. So, you know, maybe around 100 US, maybe 95 US dollars if you get one used and you are patient, you can get one for. And these are great pedals. I mean, it's definitely not the best digital delay that I've ever played, but it's got a tap tempo, it's got the modes on it, and it works really, really well. It also does have mono or stereo output and input, which is a big plus for some people. I don't really use it, but if you're into that sort of thing, and if you're looking for a more affordable delay pedal that John Mayer has actually used on the 2019 World Tour, the T-Rex Replay Box is a great one. Moving right along, next one comes from Has Nuggets, Best 5 Mayer Starter Pieces. Clean Boost, Overdrive 1, whether that is Blues Driver inspired, Blues Breaker inspired, Quan inspired, or something else, but essentially you pretty much want it to be kind of one of those three, at least inspired by one of those three pedals. Tube Screamer, any kind of green box will do. Slapback Delay and Long Delay are going to be, off the top of my head, if I had to pick 5 right now that are in the realms of being somewhat affordable: Katana Mini, Mythos Millionaire, I do JHS Bonsai, Aquapus MK3, and T-Rex Replay Box. Next one comes from Wascrack 711. Thoughts on buffers and if Mayer has used them other than the Una Effects buffer. Buffers, incredibly important, and they might not be a fun thing in terms of going out and buying a pedal like a delay or an overdrive. That's really fun, but buffers nonetheless are incredibly important, and I definitely think that people being, including myself at times, don't really think about buffers as often as we should. When I got the 29 pedals Una, which he's referring to that John has kind of started using now around Solid Rock on some of his smaller pedal boards, plugging that into my rig versus without it, the tone difference from that buffer was incredibly noticeable. Very, very, very close to plugging straight into my amplifier with running the Una, and that's incredible. And without it, and then I actually swapped from the Una, going to the pedal board to my amp, to just the pedal board to the amp, then just from guitar to amp. It makes you really think again about when you're plugging into a big board, especially me with my 2019 World Tour replica board. It's massive and the amount of cabling I have is just insane. You're definitely going to have some tone loss and some, tone suck from all those cables, and the buffer solves that. John definitely has used buffers before. You have the Boss TU2 and TU3. He's kind of used as dual buffer tuner purposes. When he uses the Pete Cornish NG2, that has an incredible buffer, and Pete Cornish have some of the greatest buffers ever made, and the Una is on par with those, which really does say something, believe me. If you haven't tried a Pete Cornish pedal, I highly suggest it if you ever get the opportunity. The buffer in my NG2 that I have is incredible. It's stupid good. John also uses the buffer in the JHS Kirkland Boost that sits at the very end of his larger pedal boards. He has confirmed that that pedal isn't true bypass, it has a buffer, so that also is going to be giving his signal chain at the very end a bit of a boost. So, yes, John uses buffers. Are they exciting and fun? No, not really, but the Una I really like, and I think it's awesome, and I think buffers in general are something that if you notice you're getting a lot of tone suck, might be something to consider. Next one from Harry_Kelly239. Favorite pedal of all time? That's a tough one. 1 second. Alright, gun to my head right now. Favorite pedal of all time, this guy right here. The original OG MK1 Green Rhino by Way Huge. I adore this pedal. I'm never getting rid of it, and I honestly want to get another one eventually as a backup. This is a phenomenal tube screamer. Personally, the best one I've ever played or tried. I love it. Kind of like an 808 inspired George Strips' take on an 808 tube screamer. It's phenomenal. I love it. And yeah, what can I say? This pedal, I use it on my own personal pedal board. It just sounds so good. Sounds so good. So yeah, probably the MK1 Green Rhino from George Strips' Way Huge back in the 1990s. The next one comes from Dallas Wingington. Thoughts on why JM switched to a 2-Rock custom reverb sig from the JM Signature 2-Rock? I do know the real reason, or what I believe to be the real reason, kind of from someone in the proper camp who would be in the know. I've heard from. I don't really want to get into it too much out of respect for kind of the whole situation. All I will say is it's nothing juicy. There's no real juicy gossip reason as to why John might have been like, oh, I don't want to use my 2-Rock John Mayer signature amplifier anymore. It sucks. I don't want to use it anymore. Wasn't anything like that. He's a guitar player, guys. He likes to change his mind, and the tones he's getting from the rig are incredible. So don't worry too much about it. I'm sure the JM Sig will be back very soon. Change is good. Change is good sometimes, to just try a different amp. Old school 2-Rock, why not? I think it sounds great, and it's kind of like almost a replica of the John Mayer Trio setup he was running at one point, or very JM Trio inspired. Not saying that's the reason, but it's kind of cool. And you know what, you guys? I just wouldn't stress out too much about it. Next one comes from Alex Roy. Thoughts on Kempers for JM Tone? I don't like to really give too much of an opinion on something I've never played. I've never played a Kemper. It's partially because of I don't really care to be honest. If you watch the Andertons videos where they do those blindfold tests, some of them with a Kemper, I mean, yes, especially through a computer, listening to it, they do sound similar. I definitely don't think they give you bad tones, but I'm definitely one of those guys where any sort of amp simulation thing I've ever played, whether it be like something like a Kemper, I mean, whatever it might be, I've never really felt that, I'm getting the best tone and I'm getting that feel, and there's something there that you're just not getting with one of those. And I think that, for at home use when you need to be quiet and stuff like that, a Kemper is a great thing, or any kind of amp simulator is great for getting tones and doing recording with. Nothing wrong with it. If you like that, that's awesome. That's great that you like doing that. For me personally, the few times I have played through something like that, I've never felt that that push. I've never felt that I've really gotten the best feel and tone. I don't know. They're not for me. I mean, if you can get great tone out of it and you're happy with it, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Not what I think, what you think. I do know some people who have Kempers, and maybe I should go give them another try just to really give some thoughts. And maybe one day I'll do a 2-rock traditional clean versus 2-rock traditional clean Kemper profile test, and we'll see what's what, and maybe I'll be proven wrong. But I haven't really played a lot of them because I don't really want to. Only going to do a couple more here. Next one from Archie.F_123. If you could only have 4 pedals, what would they be? Give me another second. Alright, I just realized I grabbed 5, but I'm only going to show you 4, because I can only do 4. So, first one, if I could only have 4 pedals on a board and use those for the rest of my life, one of them would definitely be the original Hermedia Audio Zen Drive 2. This thing is stupid good. Dumble overdrives, I personally don't believe transform your amp, but especially with the Les Paul into my Twin, this on always really gives almost that insane Joe Bonamassa lead tone from his Les Pauls that he gets, especially without turning the Twin up where it gets into that crazy territory. This is a stupid good pedal. If you can ever get your hands on one of these, I highly suggest it. You won't be sorry. Next one, I already showed you guys in this video, so I'm not going to really talk about too much. Mark 1, Green Rhino from Way Huge, George Strips, the original one from the 1990s. Alright, I've shown you 2 drive pedals. I want to do 1 modulation pedal. Mark 2, Blue Hippo from Way Huge. This thing is based on a CE2. It's pretty close to a CE2. I can almost get it as near as makes no difference to a CE2, but the range in the pots and the speed and depth that you can get out of this thing, holy crap, it's incredible. Way more range than your Boss CE2, plus it's got the vibe mode. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but the big party piece with this thing is if you really bring up the speed and the depth, you almost can kind of get into some pseudo rotary sounds with it, and I really enjoy that. So 1 chorus pedal, currently my favorite. Of course, you gotta have delay, so for the 4th pedal, it would be my personal favorite delay pedal I've ever tried. Not even owned, ever tried, and that is the Providence Delay 80s. It's TES inspired, Pete Cornish TES inspired, but a bit of its own thing, and it's not identical. It's not meant to be an identical clone. They kind of took the TES as inspiration and went along the very similar lines as it. The London Guitarist, I'm talking to you when I say this. If I ever make the trip across the pond from Canada to the UK and get the chance to play yours, I'm sure I will like it better. But when you can get these for, what, 15-20% of the price of a TES on Reverb, if you can even find one on Reverb, or I get one of these probably if you really tried and looked out for one, within the next couple months, one might pop up on Reverb where you can't even get on the, 4-year, 5-year wait list for a TES right now. I know once that waitlist opens up, I am for sure getting on it, but, you know, this is a way too good of value for money when you compare it to the Pete Cornish TES. Oh, this is actually a pretty interesting one from Tobias Valgren. If you could pick one pedal that isn't on JM's board, which pedal did you wish JM was using? Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to pick that one again. It would be cool. If he used any other vintage Way Huge pedal, I would probably freak out. If I could pick one pedal that I wish was on Mayer's board, it would be this, the Hudson Electronics Broadcast AP Ariel Posen Edition. Mayer actually has one. He said it himself. I think Ariel Posen sent him one before they actually went on sale to the public. So it's not without the realm of possibility that you could see John using one if he has one, and he's said proud owner, so I'm sure that means he's tested it out and likes it. This pedal is incredible. This was actually the kind of 5th honorable mention for if I could have 4 pedals on a pedal board. If I could have 5, this one for sure would be included. It can do anything from clean boost to fuzz, and you can actually go inside, I believe. It's been a while since I've opened this up, and you can actually adjust the gain as well to give it a bit more or less gain on it. Don't quote me on that one, guys. And it's great. I mean, Ariel Posen's also one of my favorite guitar players. I got the honor to watch him in person right before 2020, everything happened. Got to meet him and chat with him for quite a while, actually, about just gear and guitar playing and everything. Super nice guy. I mean, he's Canadian after all, so kind of fits that stereotype. And he's just great. He's an incredible player, super humble dude, incredibly talented. Please go listen to his new album, Headway, if you haven't already, or his other album as well that he's had out, or even his live Familiar Ground album as well. It's phenomenal. Some of the best playing, I promise you will ever hear, especially if you like John Mayer. So go check out Ariel Posen if you haven't already. And this pedal, check it out as well. It's brilliant. Alright you guys, I'm going to call it there. I feel like this might be a bit of a long video, but I wanted to get through and answer quite a few questions, and thank you guys again for all submitting them, and I do apologize once again as well if I never got to a question you submitted. So you guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I know it's a bit different from my usual informational videos, but I like to work on this series occasionally. Gives you guys a little bit more of a look at, you know, the things that I'm interested in and who I am, you know, the person behind this channel. And it's something that I hope to work on a bit more as things kind of open up, as we're getting into the summer here and everything, and I'll spend some more time on this series if you guys are enjoying it, that is. So you guys, please give this video a thumbs up if you might have learned something from the questions or just enjoyed this video. Thumbs up for the Sad Moxen. Silver Sky, thumbs up for Tommy being a awesome friend and hooking me up. You guys, subscribe, ring that bell button, all that stuff. Till the next one, take care you guys, we'll see you soon.